I've never taken a drink with him. Unfortunately, I don't drink, I don't take alcohol. So I've seen people on the social media say they was drunk when they called people Zinun and all that. So I don't just take alcohol. I don't even dine in wine. I just don't. So
Honorable Sangoen.
Thank you, Chair. No, I want clarity. So is it the reason that Minister Cele, when he was minister, would have then gone and taken all the alcohol from the people of South Africa during COVID?
What is your comment on those?
no, I never taken anybody's. I never taken anybody's alcohol. I just removed the crime from the scene. That was not alcohol. That was crime on the scene.
Yeah.
Because if it is sold without license, if it is sold at 4 o'clock when you're supposed to close at 10 and all, that is a crime scene, is no more a tavern. So we remove it from the scene. But let me go back on that one.
Yeah, go back to Honorable Ngola,
yeah.
but look, I can tell you, your knife cuts too deep, yo.
Okay. Honorable Ngola, if I stand here before you and I confess, Macingwane and I, we have been in the same faction, if there is such a thing, politically all life. I've supported him when he was under attack from the previous people, as with premiers, all that. I supported him as we go for secretary, where I was beaten by ACE and all that kind of thing, all that. So politically, we have been on the same side. I just don't know where and when, because even briefing him, the effort came from me. I phoned him 3 times to say, can I come and brief you? It's unlike Mbalula, who phoned me to brief me. Mbalula phoned me to brief me. I phoned my successor to say, can I come and brief you? We took 3 hours. I said, as I opened the door, I said, Lendlelina meva. This is hard one into police. Pick up the phone, and let's talk when you think we can make a contribution. I've never received a single call since ever that day I held the door handle. Not once. I mean once. And then that relationship where we have been working together on political matters, I don't know what happened to it. But political front, until this saga happened, I think we have been fine. Even socially, when he lost the mother, I visited the homestead, I spoke there. When he visited the father, we were sitting. When he lost the father, we sat there when Msholozi spoke and all that. We have been quite cordial and not very distant. His wife's name is Temberga, my wife's name is Temberga. They call each other Bizo themselves and all that. So I don't think it's a very hostile kind of relationship overall.
Okay. I'm asking this because there is a strong accusation of you doing what you have just said you can't do now, of leading from the grave. And I'm asking this because part of the evidence that was submitted to the ad hoc committee, I think a bundle 3 of the minister's evidence, had got an article that speaks about you actively participating in the affairs of the SAPS, even though you are no longer the minister, being involved in everything that is happening, insinuating that you may have a role to play in what is happening.
Article written by who?
Beg your pardon?
Article written by who? That's a problem, because the minister should have consulted me when he sees that and asked, what is this? But more than anything, it would have better to consult me, because anybody, journalists, they write what they like. And you can't hold me responsible that there is an article written by me, whatever that means, whatever that happens, and all that kind of thing. So, but if I can tell you, I've tried to stay out of the lane. It can't be true again that I don't talk to the police. But mostly it will be at the high level so that I don't have the problem. A few weeks, CIC, there was a clash of students at Edgewood of the student command, EFF and Sansco. Students phoned me. Now, I'm not going to say, yeah. What you do, you pick up the phone, and I phone Deputy Commissioner Makoba. So when it happens, when fire, I'm sure you know fire here, who killed the lady that was a CPF, he was given the bail. She phoned me to say, Minister, I don't know what to do. And I phoned the provincial commission to say, there is this matter, can you look at it? And indeed, I can't say, when people phone and they raise the matter saying, we are under attack, can you help us? So the next thing I will do, I will phone the police. And I don't think that it will be so much of irresponsible for me to say, look, I'm no more the Minister of Police, let those people come and shoot you.
Okay. During your tenure as both the National Commissioner and the Minister, which is before 2011, as the National Commissioner, and the 2 terms you have served as the Minister of Police, have you noticed some deep-seated divisions amongst the top generals of the South African police services?
Maybe the word deep does not operate. But these are old people having their opinions and all that kind of thing. There will be issues here and there. And then one job of the executing authority is to make sure that your structure functions proper. There would be issues here and there that one thing that I would do, I try by all means, honorable member, to stay above their problems, not to be sept in and become the part of one of them or the group of them. So I'll try. But if the matter is raised, for instance, one matter that was raised very sharply was the exchange between Mkwanaze and Sibia on the matter of briefing about the arrest of AKA. So I was sent that, I looked at it, and I did speak to both of them that you are all not together, but I also speak to Mkwanaze, who even apologized to say, Minister, I went overboard and all that. So I would, if I think things are going wayward, and say, that's not the way, guys. We have a target is to work on crime, not against each other.
Okay, so the last date, let's go back to the IMC. The last date of the meeting of the Interministerial Committee was the 6th of September 2023, which is effectively 6-7 months before the 2024 national and provincial elections. So one would assume that the reason of not sitting in the period after December 2023 is that everyone was out preparing for elections. Now, has the end of the 6th term marked the end of the Interministerial Committee?
No, hasn't.
So, even though the 6th administration ended, the existence of the Interministerial Committee continued to the 7th term.
Honorable member, there is precedence to that.
Yes.
This committee was called and put there by the president in May 2018 which is the tail end of the 5th administration. And the president puts ministries there, not ministers. This was not an inter-ministers committee, was inter-ministerial committee, which means ministries that come there. And the ministries have incumbents. The first meeting that met there was Cele for police, Masuta for justice, Tuba Letsatsi for intelligence, and Mapisa Ngagula for defense. So as we go for election, this committee meets. Who meets? Is Cele, Lamula, and Kodwa, because there was no minister of intelligence at the time. It was Kodwa, deputy in the president. And Mapisa was still there, but later Modise comes. So those people are there. So there is a precedent. And there was no new announcement by the president to say, Nyakubeka njalo. So we continued until this September, and indeed, I agree with you that after September they would be busy. But also, there was then one activity of the committee when the president instruct them to, or approach them, especially with that one, with the Minister of Higher Education now, with the problems that was happening at Fort Hare. I can take you through when there was time, what was happening there, but huge, 173 million of that university was misused by that process. And these police, they stopped the misuse of 173 million, that PKTT. And then when they briefed, so one felt that it would be good if they briefed the president. I think they briefed the president on the 7th of March, 2024, almost 2 or 3 months now before election. It was still there. President, quite impressed with them, I even joked to say they need some award to the way they were doing things. I hope that's not a problem of the award later when the award change seats at some place. But it would be known. Maybe not cutting deep and cutting there. Mine will be simple. Call the interministerial committee. If you believe there is no interministerial committee, go to the committee that is related to the JCPS cluster, and you are a co-chair with justice. If you don't believe that that's correct, go to the president to give you the way. I hear that after the letter, the president was briefed 2 months after. That is not consultation. It's to tell the president that I've done, you can see what to do. Okay. So for me, that is procedural wrong, but I've had people saying it's unlawful, it's illegal. I can't say that, but right, no. For me, it was wrong the way it was done.
Yeah, thank you. I was actually coming there on the 7th of March 2024. That the political killing stars teams meets the president in Durban to take him through over the 430 battle. The president is impressed and urges them to continue the good work they are doing. So the evidence we have received in this committee is that since 2022, the PKTT's existence was irregular. But besides that, 2019, there was a new designed organizational structure of SAPS that excluded the existence of the political killing stars team because there was an intended establishment of a new division of murder and robbery and all those things, which was later reconfirmed in 2025. Now, you have got this, that from that period until 2024 in March, the understanding was that this is irregular existence. But the head of state then comes later and say, you're doing a great job, please continue. It gives us a lot of some contradictory reactions in terms of what then becomes the status of the PKTT as things stand.
Chairperson, Chairperson, the structures and the organograms of the police, they are very old. They did not come with this new dispensation. Now I've signed them when I was a national commissioner. I guess JQ would have signed them. I guess 5 of us would have signed them. But at no stage where there are no task teams, with all those organograms, there will be forever task team. One famous task team, people coming from this province will remember, was a task team that was dealing with Pagat. That was a task team dealing with Pagat. But others will be done in response of the agency that can't wait to work under the structure, but also give the extra. And there is nothing illegal with that so long it follows the pattern. As it happened, the interministerial happened with the information note signed by then Commissioners Chole and all that kind of stuff. So it doesn't matter how many times you have the organograms, but there will be always some task teams and some operations as they are. I've counted several of them now. The other one that was put there because of the problem was anti-gang unit. Anti-gang unit, it still exists. I hope it has been found, has been put under the structure. It was in Cape Town alone. It has spread now to other places where there are gangs. There is just one connotation I don't like about it, that is a colored unit. That is not. There is a lot of that here in Khayelitsha working there. There are no colors staying in Khayelitsha. So is an anti-gang unit which was launched by the president, but its existence might be found on the way by the structure and put on the structure and comes after the big umbrella that is called as a visible policing under the component. There is a component that will be called ORS, and that component will fall under the visible policing and all that. Other one that was put as a special was TROT. We did not fix the organogram. TROT had to respond to the crime of cash heist and all that there and then, which really was reduced. So that 2019, I really wish if ceased to exist, what was the process, what was the document? On the 6th of September 2023, we are communicating the decisions taken on the 5th of September 2023 by the interministerial, where the last resolution from one of the members says this team must continue. I haven't seen and heard where people come together and say this team cannot continue.
Okay. Thanks, General. I'm sure you are better experienced to respond on this part of the organogram and stuff, because you have both been the National Commissioner and the Minister. Do task teams necessarily get to be part of an organizational organogram?
Task teams are temporal.
It's not divisions.
No, not divisions. They are not units. They are temporal. They are issue bound. They are both time bound and issue bound. Like this page, you go there. Initially, it was 4 months, but if you finish your mission in 3 months, definitely it will cease to exist. But also, if you go beyond 4 months or 6 months that is given, and that problem has not been resolved, you are not going to pack and go home and we say, you can kill yourself now, our time is finished. So they find the way of extending it. So there are both time-bound and issue or stroke mission-bound, the task teams.
Okay. As the inaugural chairperson of the IMC that established the PKTT, you say on the 5th of September, you have taken, or September 2023, the IMC has taken a decision to extend the existence of the PKTT. Now, it brings us back to the argument we have been having as the committee with witnesses from the beginning of the ad hoc committee. Who has the power to extend the PKTT existence or term of office? Who, given the context of the manner in which it was formulated, starting the president, IMC, PKTT, and all that process, who then has the power to de-establish the PKTT that was established by the IMC, and IMC that was established by the president, who then has got that power of extending one and also de-establishing?
Let's look how is it established. The president makes an announcement in Maritzburg and comes to Parliament about the formation of the interministerial. And these ministers goes to KZN, get briefed by a provincial team that has been existing there by 3 generals and brigadiers, Chiliza, Makashalala, and the head of intelligence. You realize that there is zero work here. And then you give the report back to the president to say, Mr. President, we'll have to find the way. Let's get, or maybe one thing that I can say, Chair, there is a problem in the police of working of the local police on matters. Hence, most of the communities, they're making the call to say, we must exchange the police all the time because they get consumed on the local issues. So that was detected in that team that they've become some part of the problems. Hence, dismantle it, 8 of them kept, and then invite more others. But as they come, are not called by the ministers. The minister called their DGs. There was a list, there was a big meeting of DGs. And this DG brings this DG brings this. The South African Police DG, by the way, National Commission is a DG. The DG of the South African Police goes and he says to his people works with, develop here the note so that I can be able to sign. And then it's developed by the provincial commissioner and all other commissioners up to the deputy, who is Masimula and Stole, they sign. But it's not only them that they go there, they go back with six prosecutors that they work with them. It's not only them that they go there, they go with provincial and national head of correctional service so that they can implement what is supposed to happen in the court. They go there with the DG of justice so that they work on the special courts. So indeed, IMC would have said, DGs, do we have the job or not here? They say we don't have the job. And what is your recommendation? Is that dissolve the thing and then come to the interministerial, and then interministerial goes back to the president. As it went down, that's the same way that you have to come up or vice versa. But nobody, let me tell you, there is no minister of police there. There is a chair of the interministerial. You are there because you are a chair. There are ministerial things that are done by the minister alone, like the border in Mozambique. But this is interministerial. Interministerial, as you have seen these meetings, interministerial would say, you go and communicate. So nobody could have communicated having not mandated, but the interministerial.
Okay. The ad hoc committee received evidence that at the heart of the decision for de-establishment is the fact that the PKT is now becoming expensive but less effective, which forms the center or the heart of driving towards the decision of de-establishment. Now, you are disputing that and making an example of two projects you think that are most expensive than the PKTT. You speak about Project Thunder, you speak about Project Lockdown and that. So are there still task teams or projects within the service that you are aware of that are still in existence and expensive more than what we're discussing now?
One of the most expensive is Operation Valumkoti. Operation Valumkoti, we put a lot of money on it. Well, the source, I did explain that it comes from Kara. But honorable member, I will not sit here and deny that there was question of money or cost that was in there. This is not the cost of the party or dancing. It's the cost dealing with the human lives. This committee is sent to investigate, stop and arrest those that have done that, and deal with unresolved cases, which means you go and stabilize. That is the mandate. Your measurement is that one councillor has died, so the area is stabilized. I'm saying until late, all councillors of Nongoma were sleeping at all political parties without fail, all, EFF, ANC, NFP, everyone, everybody. They were sleeping at some hotel somewhere in Richards Bay. They've come back now. I'm told that they've come back because of the arrest of Nkabi and the people that have funded them, which means there is this resemblance of stability at Nongoma. But I say to you, the councillors at Teguin, I don't know other places, especially the ward councillors, are guarded. You know, one dangerous thing in the politics of councillors, honorable members, is to be a councillor on the safe ward of that particular part, because they know if they kill you, whoever kills you will come in. It's not much a problem with PR. The problem is with ward councillors. I'm saying big, the number I don't know, but not less than 50. So you are not going to call me that is stability. You must go and remove those conditions that make those councillors to be guarded. And then you talk about stability. Because that's the second. The third one, we're going for elections. The history does tell us that local government election, there is a flare-up. Always a flare-up. You can see the statistics. You can go and look at the statistics. There's a flare-up. Then it cannot be going towards that and you say you remove. But the last point, please, use the path you came to go back. The path are those 3 steps that have happened. Deal with those paths and then reach your final stage.
You, in the 31st December 2024 letter, amongst the central reasons that which has led to a establishment of the PKTT is that the assessment made is that it's no longer adding value to the policing in South Africa. Now, as a person who presided over the affairs of the political killing system from 2018 to 2024, what value would you attach to the PKTT in respect to the crime-fighting efforts against political-related killings?
To start with, who did the assessment that it has no value?
The letter of the minister says it adds no value.
And the attachment, the annexure?
There is an annexure that speaks about dockets, some are in court, some there
By
were
who?
convictions, the PKTT. But I'm talking about, these are two different periods, Ndos. The period that led to the letter is from July 2024 to December 2024. So I'm talking about a person who has got a long spending with the PKTT from 2018 to 2024. Then, in your experience with having presided over the affairs of the PKTT, what value would you attach yourself to the work that the PKTT has done?
There is only one source that I know has a problem with PKTT. It's Aunt Mary. That's the only source I know. But if you ask me about
So when you say Anne Mary, you refer to Professor
Professor
Meritias.
Meritias,
Okay.
when it comes to the PKTT, I don't have figures, Honorable Member, of the people that have been arrested. With the high-profile cases that we have lived with without being resolved. There is another myth to say they are pursuing cases that are not political. You see the world office in Kabi, hitmen, they go across the board. They don't only hit politicians alone. They are hired to kill on the taxi world. So if the PKTT finds a person that kills a politician at Nongoma, called Taminyembe as a councillor, and they realize that this Ntuli has killed other tax people, and there are 6, they will pursue that. They are not going to say, stop, don't check now, because the next people they shot is not a politician. They'll pursue, which helps that we are eating on the world of Izingabi coming from this angle of political violence. So without really going detailed and giving you statistics, those are there. Maybe we will invite the people to give you statistics. For me, it was one of the biggest good decisions that this team was formed. They did not let anybody down. They did the good job. And I believe that even they're taken to other places now, it comes out of their job. And this thing that I heard somebody in Mafeking coming at these Zulus, what are they doing, these Zulus here? Let me tell you one thing. South African police jurisdiction, because it looks like there is an issue with this going to Gauteng. South African police service jurisdiction is South Africa. It's not province. Jurisdiction is South Africa. The minister only signs when they leave the country. But when they move to the next province, that's a jurisdiction of the South African Police Service. If they do it in Gauteng, they're at home. If they do it in Galashiwa, they're at home. So for me, they cannot be accused for things that are not breaking the law. PKTT, nothing wrong if assessed, but I haven't seen any assessment. And people that have assessed and they said that is needed, they must go back and assess and give the report back to somebody who says, you go and fix it. Otherwise, for me, it's done the good job, and I guess their job is not done.
Thank you.
Honorable Sangwen.
Thank you, Chair. No, I just want a question of clarity on the response that the General just gave. General, I understand you saying that the jurisdiction is South Africa, but when you are a provincial commissioner such as General Mkhwana's, is there any authorization or anything that is required for you to go into different territory? There was, within another province, go to Gauteng. There was a testimony that was put here, I think it may have been by the minister, who seemed, I don't want to put words in his mouth, let's say perplexed, that, you would have law enforcement officers sent from KwaZulu-Natal to operate in Gauteng. I'm not talking about the G-Ops or whatever that thing is called, but is there anything wrong or any additional authorization that is required for General Mkhwana's officers to operate in another province such as Gauteng? Or they can just go because their jurisdiction is South Africa? Thanks.
I think at that level,